Okay, so to prepare for our axle flip project that we're going to do today, I went ahead and bought new U-bolts, new plates, and it came with the nuts and bolts. I got this whole set right here for about $22 on Amazon. The spring perches, some people call them saddles, I call them perches. I got these at a local store for $6 each, so we're going to use 2 of those. And then these, I wasn't planning on doing this until this morning. These are new shackle hangers for the rear, for the springs at the rear. Let me show you why we're going to do that. So from the center of this eye to the center of this eye is supposed to be 24 7/8. I laid the tape measure down and it's about 26 1/2. So you see what it's doing right here. This shackle coming down to the spring eye is supposed to be on this side of that bolt. Instead of letting the eye go this way when it springs, it was trying to force it up. I'm going to place the new hangers on there and get that fixed while we're taking this apart. Okay, so the process of doing a spring over flip on your utility trailer axle is really not that complicated. The process that I'm going to show you is not the only way, it's just the way that I do it. It's up to you to get on YouTube, find some more videos, get on the internet, do some research, and then just sit down one day and just study what you're fixing to do. You don't want to get halfway through it and then realize you don't have, some kind of certain tool or something like that. Speaking of tools, this can be done with most hand tools. You don't need an impact, you don't need an air impact or a battery powered impact, but they make things a lot easier and a lot faster. So I got over here a couple of days ago and I put some penetrating oil on the nuts of the U-bolts, and I let it sit overnight, and that was when I realized that the nuts on there are rusted onto the U-bolts. So really the easiest thing for me to do is just cut these off with the angle grinder, and I bought a set of new U-bolts, and it came with the plates and the nuts and everything. But while I'm talking about this, Dexter makes a kit that they call the over-under kit, and it's really ingenious and it'll really save you some time. What the over-under kit has is it has these new saddles or perches, whatever you want to call them, and the Dexter's over-under kit, what they've done is welded on some threaded rod right here, and then it comes with this long nut that you put on there, and you put it on top of the axle, and then you turn that nut so it sits on the base of the saddle that's already under there, like this. Now that kit you can buy from Dexter, or you can buy them online, and they cost about I don't know, $75 to $80. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take off these nuts off this shackle. Make sure that you have your trailer supported on some jack stands, and if you have a floor jack, it'd be nice to support your axle while you do this also, so it just doesn't fall down. Then you got to work kind of hard to get those shackles off. Okay, so I've got the shackles removed on both sides. At this time, I'm going to go ahead and take my angle grinder and just cut these U-bolts off. Okay, at this point we're going to prep the top of this axle because it's got a lot of paint on there, and we have to weld this onto there. Okay, so this is my new purse. This isn't rocket science. Just want to make sure that it's directly over your old one, and then we're going to measure the distance from here to here and here to here to make sure that we've got it level. Okay, at this point you can go ahead and hang your springs back on. Okay, you want to make sure that you don't over tighten these because you do want your spring to be able to move back and forth, but you want it on there pretty good. Okay, so this part is super easy. On the springs you'll notice there's a little nub sticking up, and there's one on the bottom, and then you got your plate. You want your plate, you want these raised parts to be pointing up. So that'll go right there, and it sits on that thing, on that little nub. And then go ahead and get one of your U-bolts ready, and all you're going to do is you're going to raise this up, and you're going to make sure that this nub on the bottom goes in this hole. There it is. And then you're just going to put these on here. Before I start tightening anything down, I just take the socket with my bare hand and just turn them as much as I can to get them seated. These are 6 1/4 inch bolts. I could have just bought the 5 1/2 and been fine. I just wanted a little extra. All right. So when I tighten these down, I like to go in a crisscross pattern. Just take your time with each one because you want them to come up equally. Okay, so the manufacturer of this kit recommends torquing these down to 60 pounds for each one, and then driving it for about 100-200 miles, and then rechecking them again, retorquing them down, make sure they didn't move. So I'm going to go over and do the other side now. Okay, so you can see we got our U-bolts in, we got our plates on, everything's tightened down on both sides. Okay, well there you go. That made a huge difference. That actually raised it up because I measured from the ground up to this rail right here with it level, and it was 17 1/4 inches, and now it's 22 inches. So it raised it 4 3/4 inches, and You can see now the top of this rail is well above that tire. So that's going to let me put my fender right at this line right here so it won't get in the way of loading with the forklift. But anyway, that was worth doing. Okay, so there you go. Let's talk about a couple of things. Again, like I say, Dexter, that's well known for their trailer components and axles and stuff. They make a kit called the over-under kit, and it's a kit specifically designed for doing what we just did today. And that kit, depending on what axle you have, it's between $70, $75 to $90, somewhere like that. You get a little bit cheaper on Amazon, but it's a very nice kit, and it's well worth it. My kit, I found my spring perches at a local hardware store for $6 each, so that was $12. And I needed the new U-bolts, and the only reason why I got new U-bolts was because my nuts on there were rusted up to it, and it was just easier just cut them off. But if you have a brand new trailer where that's not the deal on yours, you can just go get those spring perches, and $12, that's all you need, because you can reuse those same U-bolts, because it doesn't add anything to the length, because all you're doing is basically taking the U-bolt out and turning it around and going this way with it. But remember, if you have a cambered axle like this one where it's curved at the top, you can't just roll the axle over. You have to put new perches on. But if you have a straight axle and everything about it is straight, yeah, flip it over, see what it does. That's a really cheap alternative. But if you're building one of those overlander camping like trailers, and you want some more clearance, you can put 2-inch lift blocks in here like you would, your 4x4 or your Jeep, something like that. You can put 2-inch blocks on here. Now you will have to get much longer U-bolts, for that, to compensate for the 2-inch blocks. But that's another alternative, is flip this spring over and then put in some lift blocks, and then your camping trailer will be way high and have a lot of ground clearance. But anyway, like I said before, if I wasn't videotaping this and trying to make a video about it, and if I didn't have to redo where those shackle hangers were, and all I was doing the spring over, I could have had this project done in 30 minutes. It's really not that hard. And you don't even need to have, expensive tools. You can do this whole thing with hand tools. It might take you a little bit longer, but it's doable. Get your floor jack and a couple of jack stands, and you're home free. But anyway, if you have any questions, leave a comment. And if you did something if you see something that I did wrong, please let me know. Let the other people that are reading these comments know, hey, he made a nice video, but, he shouldn't have done that. Because I've never done this before. And so I'm not trying to be the expert at doing spring over conversions. I just show you how I do it. And it may be the right way, may be the wrong way. I might have done something wrong. I don't know. I'm not a spring over conversion specialist, okay? So if I did something wrong, call me out, please. We're all here to learn. And if you call me out on something, do it nicely. I mean, be grown up we're all on this YouTube so we can learn from each other and you know, make the best with what we've got. So anyway, thanks for watching. I appreciate every single one of you. And again, leave a comment, because you know I answer every single one of those comments. Do a brother a solid, subscribe, like the video. It really helps me out. But anyway, y'all be good. Have a nice weekend.